Hey friends, it's me, Erin, your friendly neighborhood energy alchemist with today's Schumann resonance report for Wednesday, November the 26th. All right, you guys, how are you feeling? So the first thing I want to show you is this little video letting you know that little piece that keeps appearing and disappearing on the graph is still happening. See, there it is, right up there. It has stayed at this end of the graph, right? And in meditation this morning, what I heard is because our future as a collective is so in flux right now that it's only laying down energy like 1 hour at a time or something like that. It was very much a feeling of things are so in flux and in such a state of change that the timeline itself is still wobbling a little bit. That's what I received this morning. I looked on the graph and it sure is still doing that. So I wanted to come on and tell you guys that first thing. And we can talk about what's on the graph. We have a lot of big white energy that started to come in yesterday. Here is a closer view. This started in earnest at about 10 p.m. Central Time and is continuing even now. There is a piece of this graph that lays itself down and then disappears that has more white energy on it. So we're still receiving this white energy. I want to call to your attention this, and this. Don't see it, hardly ever. This pattern of energy right here along this harmonic is incredibly rare, even with the big white energy. If you go back and look at videos when I show you big white energy, it does not normally hit these harmonics as well. That is incredibly unusual, strange, something different is happening with this energy. And we go back to the earthquake graph where we still have this pattern. The pattern is not staying steady. The pattern is shifting and changing ever since it started. It stays in one pattern for a little bit and then it shifts. As you can see right now, it's very tight, very close together here. Here, it's much more spread out. This is a picture I took yesterday afternoon at about 6 p.m. Central Time. The whole reason I came on and took this picture is because out of nowhere, I got an incredible headache. So bad that I felt like I couldn't keep my eyes open. And it was almost like someone turned a dial up in my house. I go to the graph and this is what I'm looking at. What is this? Something in that pattern changed and it 100% had an impact on me. There is zero other explanation and the only variable that changed was this graph. Just to remind you, this is what it looks like now. I don't know what this is. I have received zero information about it. What I understand from my guides, my meditations about this is that it is some sort of man-made signal. I don't feel like it's malicious in nature. I don't think anyone's trying to hurt us, but I think they're doing something that they don't necessarily understand the implications of. That's the best way I have to explain what I'm receiving. I am very hesitant to say it's any one thing because I simply don't know. What I do know is this is affecting me and that the timeline graph is doing weird stuff and that I have felt strange for like 3 days now. Time feels strange. I feel like I'm forgetting what day it is. I'm forgetting entire conversations. I'm having missing chunks of time. I physically feel very strange sometimes. The buzzing in my ear has been ridiculously loud. I don't know how to explain what's going on, but it is matching the graphs and the feeling of something weird is happening. When we look at our Italian graph this morning, we have a little bit of grumbles across the bottom, but barely anything. I don't expect today to have a whole lot of triggers in it. So that's a nice break to have, especially with everything else going on. And our GCP this morning is yellow. This is like saying there are partly cloudy skies. A storm could form, it could not form. I don't know. This is about the collective measurement of energetic movement. This changes all day long. So we are still in the midst of receiving this big white energy. And I want to tell you guys, this energy genuinely affects me in a profound way. Physically, it makes my body feel as if it's vibrating, like I'm literally buzzing. The noise in my ears, the background buzz in my ears also shifts with incoming energy like this. It gets higher with the big white energy. I also have this feeling of wanting to constantly work on a project, but I'm unable to finish any one project. So I start about 50 different projects. My ADHD is like high gear, friends. That's how this energy affects me. And then when I hit the bed at night, I am done. I am like wiped out. But then I'm up all night long, up and down, up and down. That's how it affects me. It may affect you differently. It doesn't mean that you're wrong or bad because it affects you differently. Something to remember about this energy is there are studies that have been done that have linked it to the theta brainwave state. The theta brainwave state is associated with sleep and meditation and areas of concentration. If you are spending a lot of your day dealing with life, you're not necessarily near the theta state. So you may not feel or integrate this energy at the same time as me because the nature of my job is that I'm in and out of theta brainwave state literally all day long. Just because it's different from me doesn't mean it's bad. It's still available to you, friends. Source doesn't work like that. It doesn't say, oh, you weren't looking. Oh, you missed out. Stop telling yourself that Source acts like your mean cousin. It's not like that. What I can tell you happens often, though, is if this big white energy is being presented and you are not in the state to integrate it, it will form a pocket around your biosphere, and the space between the frequency of your biosphere and the frequency of this energy can cause a dissonance. That dissonance can cause feelings of anxiety and restlessness that feel very out of place. I know it feels like you need to get up and go run a marathon, but if you sit down in meditation, you can actually help this integrate a little bit easier and get rid of that feeling. We had to come into the house to do the cards because it is so freaking windy outside. All right, guys, here's what my guides have to say for today. My guides are telling me that we are learning to reassess a lot of the teachings and understandings that we have about the world around us. This can cause a feeling of overwhelm or overburdened in our energy and make us feel like there are being setbacks for us. However, if you can allow yourself to have a little bit of self-compassion and turn towards the belief that you are finding something better for yourself, things start to change faster than you think. That's when you're really going to start to see progress and start to move towards that horizon, somewhere you've never been before. And I know it's scary, but it's new, so you got to do it. Again, my guides say, as we are reassessing a lot of what we understand about ourselves and the world, it can give us this overwhelmed feeling and a feeling of setback in our energy. But if you can be nicer to yourself and give yourself permission to believe that you're learning something better, that's when the real action starts to happen and you make progress. We are all moving towards a new horizon, somewhere we have never been before, which means it's unknown and scary, but we have to allow ourselves to take that step, friends. It is so cold and windy, but I love to start my day outside with you guys. I really do. Even though it's sort of snowy and cold and windy and we'll just hurry up. But we need the fresh air, right? Big fresh breath. Let's do it. Let's get ready together. All right, take a nice big deep breath in all the way down to your toes. Release. Drop your shoulders. And just remind yourself that no matter how windy and cold and snowy it is a brand new beautiful day. I hope today is a good one for you, friends. Find something that feels good to focus on and try not to give so much attention to all the things that feel like they're coming apart. They're coming apart regardless if you pay attention to them or not, right? So stop trying to control something that you don't have any control over and give yourself permission to focus on things that feel better. Don't go to the grocery store today if you're in America. Today's a great day. It's a great day.